On the final stages of just finishing off this hacker. I think it's all okay now. The alignment seems pretty good. I'd like to thank Radio Cruncher for sending me a knob for the hacker. This replaced the AFC knob that's missing its aluminium cap. Actually, the cap just pops off the original one, so it goes back on there. Lovely. Just give it a bit of a polish up and glue it on. That'll be fine. So thank you for that. Thanks, Graham. So yeah, just as I say, finishing off, just setting up the amplifier, make sure that the amplifier's all okay. Just setting it up with the audio going into the amplifier and checking for symmetrical clipping, which is basically what the manual's asking you to do, is to set the static point on the midpoint of the transistors. And the other way you can do that is to actually drive the amplifier with its a signal generator and actually get the symmetrical clipping. And what it's asking you is to adjust Rp1 for a given midpoint voltage of 5.85 volts. Though that is a good enough way to do it, I prefer to do it with the signal generator, because you get a better idea of symmetrical clipping, and I'll demonstrate this now. What I've done is I've wired up the audio from the 8903 through a line attenuator that I've made that feeds into the input of the amplifier. The output of the amplifier is fed into a static load. The normal load is 3 ohms on these hackers. I'm wiring into a 4 ohm load, so it's near enough. It'll give you a rough idea of what's going on. And I'm also getting the audio analyzer to measure distortion and also the power output. Well, first of all, we'll check the power output by entering the special function of 19.04, which is the resistance of the load, the special function. And the right hand meter will show you the power output. Obviously on the scope, I think you can just see that. Yeah, we're looking for symmetry on the waveform, and let's turn it up with the attenuator on the bench. I'm just going to widen the time base out a bit so it's easy to see the clipping. And as you see there, it's going slightly at the bottom before the top. I'm running an external power supply because obviously because I don't want it to run it on the batteries, because it's drawing nearly 1/4 amp. Just doing this test, and you see just before clipping with a 12 volt supply we're getting 1.8 watts and the distortion is 0.6%. So 0.04 special function at 1 watt, distortion figure is 0.4%. That is bloody amazing, really, for a radio of this age. So what I'm going to do is increase it to clipping, and just so we can get that little bit more symmetrical. Now, it's not far out, but it just might be to get it a little bit better, and then we can sort of close the thing up. So I'm just adjusting the DC balance on the transistors. And get the hold of the pot. No, it's not with that tool, I won't. Let's try this one. This is Rp1 I'm adjusting. I'm just going to try and get the symmetry a little bit better, so just pushing it a bit harder into clipping. There you see, the negative edge is going more, and now the positive edge is going more, so there we go. That's a much better way of doing it. Gives you much finer control, and that looks pretty perfect to me. Make sure our voltage is correct, 12 volts. Now you don't want to run these amplifiers too long at this load, because bear in mind they're germanium transistors, and they are prone to overheating. Okay, so let's shut all this off, disconnect everything, and then we can have a look to see what our final result is. Nice and easy to work on these hackers. They're all the bits slide out. They're easily accessible. They're designed to be serviced. You know, they're obviously designed to have to be looked after and to be kept and maintained, really. So get the balls back in. Let's get a better view of the radio. Put it back onto battery power. So compressor current has already been set, and that's confirmed as within spec. Pop the back on where I put that. Okay, let's have a look, see what we've got then. No audio, I know what that is. Pick the speaker back up. Wait for the click as we discharge the capacitor into the speaker. A slight click.
You know, the show is the show. In theory, the and this Dad listens to.
It's there most of the time, kind of like voices but no words. Socrates.
That was Anne Carson reading her letter from inside. The presenter was Gillian Slovo and the producer was Barney Roundtree.
What's interesting is it looks like the FM oscillator's drifted off slightly again, but it's not badly out. It's quite warm in here. I wonder if it's drifting with temperature.
Jimmy Mobile Discos, there you go. He's heading off on tour with Blossoms later this month.
Long wave.
And the horrible, and you really feel that you're living in these worlds.
What I love in the stories this year is both the variety but also that commonality of human connection. All of them will take you into the heart of somebody who's looking for a way.
Medium wave.
Full turns at coral.co.uk.
The guys can't wait to hear the Wembley crowd roar.
On selected ships at all protected.
So that's it really. I think the Hacker Rp72 is basically working as well as it's going to. It was in pretty good nick as you know when I bought it, so I haven't had a lot to do. But thanks for watching. More to come.